Mood Not Moods. What's up, everybody? This is leeBISHOP.
And this is Gabriel the Angel, your boy or your girl. You like that?
I'll keep it. Gabe, what we talking about?
Well, we have...
First of all, we're on alcohol and what?
Oh, well, you know, which is legal here. You get a little sativa, makes you happy. It's a gummy. Yes. It's a cannabis infusion gummy formula.
Yay!
Yay! So
right.
Yeah, and it's only 3.3 calories, girls. You're trying to watch your food, honey. Yeah, but we just got back from dinner as well with your actually brunch. We did brunch and it lasted a long with your sister.
Is that brunch?
Who's brunch?
What time was it?
We got there.
Oh shit!
It was
It's supposed to be 1:30.
We got there. Your sister told us to be there at 1:30 because she knew both you and I was gonna be late. So
oh shit! So we do.
So it was actually
still on
2
CB time.
o'clock. Yeah, she knew it was on CB time, and we both. I got there at 1:56, and you probably got there at what 1:40 something like that. Yeah, so she knew what to do. So we just got back to that. So we good and full, and we ready. Subject. I think the main thing that's on everybody's mind right now, at least mine, was the election. How do you feel about it?
It was great.
Did you vote?
I did. I voted, but you know the polls. You know, a lot of people now are saying next time you're not gonna trust the polls. That's a whole situation there, and man, what a crazy time, man. You know, people, and then if you still voted for Trump after the 4 years of the shenanigans and the pettiness and the immaturity and the bullshit, then that says a lot about your character. And I know Biden's not the best, but he's all we got. I mean, I don't know if you guys wanted Kanye West as vice president for 2021, but I mean, the lesser of two evils, right? And Biden's not a bad guy overall, and he's a gentleman. I liked his last what do you call that when he won, and he had the what do you call it
that was like the election night, but it was like 3 or 4 days later
with Kamala and everybody coming out.
Like the ceremony, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like how he said, we're not going to split Democrat. It's not about Democrat and Republican. It's about America, and that's a real big for me to hear, because Trump is very divided. He used a lot of divisive tactics. He's kung flu. The flu's from this vaccine's from China. I mean, come on, it's okay to laugh. It is good. It's not. It's good.
But you have to say the way he said it. It's China.
Yeah.
It's China disease.
This kung flu.
The kung flu. It's the way he said it. So I was thinking about how he said it, like with ease.
Yeah, and that's what we don't need from now. I don't care if you're a racist or Republican. I don't give a crap about that. We need to come together now. There's the pandemic. A lot of people don't have work. They're on unemployment. They don't know where their food's gonna come from, or if they can pay rent the next month. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to cut out all this divisive bullshit and just come together. And I think Biden and Kamala are gonna do that. And another thing, I did vote, and I didn't vote for Biden. I voted for Kamala Harris.
So big. Real talk though, because they were on the same. You and I both vote here in California, so I know how it is to actually work the election. So you can't vote for one without the other. So you voted for.
My mentality is I voted for Harris.
But a lot of people do that. A lot of people they.
I've never voted for a vice president though. I mean, in favor of the vice president. I voted for the president. Obama, and I guess Clinton last time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I voted for Harris this time because Biden's going to be the body, but Harris is going to be the voice.
I think you're right about that. So, she will be the voice
and the voice of reason, because I know all the shady shit she did supposedly in the back and in the past, when she was a DA or a GA, but people grow.
She's the GA, then she's the Attorney General for the state of California. Yeah.
And so, and they've been talking about, weed reform, nonviolent crime, people in jail. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully get those people out, and you know, I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be a rough ride, probably the first 2 years, but I think we'll be okay.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, I'm really thank you, America. Thank you, because what we didn't know for like a whole week, right? Well, the election was on Tuesday, and I think so the election was on Tuesday, and we found out that I believe it was Saturday that we found out that Biden finally secured enough electoral votes to actually be president-elect, right? And so I know that I kept getting text messages. I know that people were calling and were like, we think that Trump is going to win again. And I was like, no, believe me, like, America is better than that. I believe that. And I just hold, let's wait till all the votes are counted. Let's just wait, because what happened, and this is what the Biden campaign had campaigned on, they were basically saying vote early. So people were sending in their mail-in ballots, and even myself, like full disclosure, I actually worked the elections here in California, and here in California, you can vote in person 11 days before actually November the 3rd. Yep. So 11 days, you have that much time to actually walk in person to cast your vote. Now, prior to that, or within that, you can actually vote by mail, like a month or so in advance. So a lot of people voted by mail. And then the third thing on top of that is, here in LA, we have the ballot boxes. Mm-hmm. They're usually located by a public library, a public building, or the federal building, which is the post office.
That's what I did.
You see, yeah, and you just fill out your ballot and you put it in that ballot box, and it's actually picked up every 2 days.
Yeah.
So we have few ways here to vote here in LA, and in LA County, that is. And so we actually broke the amount of people that actually voted in elections this time around. So,
because people cared.
People did care, and I knew that the better angels would prevail. I just knew that was going to be the case. But a lot of people didn't know, because we didn't know, because they thought it was going to be a landslide. Let me tell you what did kind of I wasn't shocked, but maybe slightly surprised at how many people voted for Trump. So right now we're at 78 million people voted for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
With Trump, there was about 72 people that voted for him. So a 5 million difference of the amount of people that voted for Biden. And so I have to think, and I have to question, and I have to wonder, those 72 million people, did you not see how this man conducted himself the last 4 years, and even before that? I'm so baffled. That is what I'm so baffled and confused and bewildered and just don't understand. Like, the amount of people that this guy came down an escalator and started his campaign saying that all Mexicans are rapists and killers. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how he started his campaign, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you co-signed for this, and then there was a litany of different issues that happened all the way up to COVID. Well, right now we're having 148,000 cases a day of COVID. Let's think about that. That's bigger than most cities in the United States. 148,000 people.
And he knew like a month earlier that it was coming.
Right, and all this stuff that's came out, and you all still voted for him. Like, this man is racist through and through, and you 72 million plus and counting people voted for him.
Well, racists want to support racists.
You know, and it's just like, what can a Trump supporter or a Trump voter can come to you and say to you to make you think that's any different?
Nothing.
Exactly my point. Like, I'm looking at them like, and I'm just gonna be candid. Like, I just don't understand. Like, there's nothing in me that says I want to go. And I get being a Republican. I get being conservative.
Yeah, that's fine.
I get that. That I'm not questioning. I'm not saying you not to be a Republican. But what I am saying is, I don't understand how, in good faith, you could vote for this man knowing what he doesn't even care about you all. If you all wanted, the majority of his voters, if they wanted to get into one of his, that's Margo, his golf course down in Florida, or any of his golf courses, he wouldn't think twice of letting most of you all in.
Well, more about the rednecks in the South. Like, you think he's for you and he doesn't. Like Gabe said, like he doesn't care about you.
Confused by that. Like, how do you sit there and look at this man and this man is for me? Like, I can literally see he's a used fucking car salesman. Like, that is what I see when I look at him. That one that says, yes, this is a new car. Yes, nothing's wrong with it. And it has no engine in it. Yeah. It has no wheels on it. And it has no gas in it. But you still buy it. Yeah. I don't understand that. Like, I literally don't understand that. It's just beyond me. And there's nothing that any of them can say to me to convince me any otherwise. I'm just like, I look at them and like, I will say with the polls, like some of them were on wrong, some of them were wrong, and some of them were right. And so for me, it seems, the way I look at it is like, the pollsters were slightly off again this time around. I mean, they said that the Democrats were going to take the Senate. It was like, I think like a 65, 75, 85% chance they're going to take the Senate. And then they were also going to keep the House. Now, they did keep the House, but they lost a few seats in the House. They haven't taken the Senate yet. They have the 2 runoff elections down in Georgia where it's like these 2 seats are going to decide who controls the Senate. So it's just like, why are we here? Like, how did that many people still vote for Republicans? Again, you can be a Republican, you can vote for Republicans, that's fine. But how are we still in this situation? Like, I'm so confused about, I just don't get it. I'm just confused.
And you know, he shot himself in the foot with that, with the debates. Because he really came off like a little kid, you know what I mean? And, I mean, Biden too, when he told him to shut up. Well, you just shut up. But, you know, he came off really petty, really immature, and, you know, I think a lot of people, regular humans, saw that as just like embarrassing. And he didn't conduct himself you know, well as a gentleman or even as a man, you know. It had to be embarrassing to be a Republican and just see that, you know, and then you gotta like come it over with like either denying it or saying he did a good job, you know. And I know as a human being, you guys, Republicans or whoever still support Trump, do not believe that he did a good job of it. That he, you know, talked like a gentleman and presented himself as a gentleman, and you know, it was very petty. It was horrible. You know, I have a few, you know, friends who watched it and they couldn't finish it because it was so petty. It was so embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? And this is your president. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy who didn't go to what's his name's funeral just because he didn't support him. Was it John McCain? Not only John.
No, you're talking about the guy from Florida, the civil rights leader.
Yeah. John Lewis?
John Lewis, thank you. Yes, that's it. John Lewis, yeah.
So, I mean, that's just... This guy's weird, man. So, I'm glad those debates happened because I think he shot himself in the foot. And I think a lot of people got turned on by that. You know what I'm saying? It's not about Biden. It's about, you know, choosing somebody who is coherent and, you know, listens to other people and is not, you know, arrogant and you know what I'm saying? You know, he didn't. I don't think Biden came for money. He's a regular person like us. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like I said earlier, like I think we're in good hands for now. And another thing, Trump brought a lot of people to politics. Like before that, when to be honest, like, and I feel like we as a people shouldn't be do this anymore. But when Obama was in office for 8 years, thank God, we kind of like went about our business, you know what I'm saying? I mean, remember H1N1 and SARS and all that stuff? Like, he didn't even have a press conference with Q&A. He just said, this is going to happen, blah, 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 we're working on it, and thank you, and we'll take it. And then that was it. You know what I'm saying? With COVID, the press went on a field day with Trump all the time, trying to prove him wrong and everything. You know, it was... Because
he was wrong.
Yeah, like...
You know, we had... I don't want to stop you, but I have to stop you because you know you know what I'm about to say. You know, even with that doctor, the snake oil salesman. Right. And everybody knows who I'm talking about. It was the doctor that was out there, and she was a black doctor from Africa, and she said, like, you know, the reason why there's sin is something about, like, people having sex with aliens and all this other stuff.
That's before.
No, this is before.
That's what you wanted to talk about.
But Trump had retweeted her about she had a cure for COVID, and it was like that resmetirom or whatever, and then it was like a therapy that she was treating for people, and she was talking about how like her 300 people that she had treated, they had all been cured and all this other stuff. But long story short, this lady was a snake oil salesman. And I kept telling him, Bishop here sent me the article about this lady, and the first thing I responded to him was what?
She's selling snake oil.
That's exactly how I said it.
Why you send me this shit?
But anyway, just like this woman that he promoted, it's just like how he is. Like, he's typical of just like stepping on himself and putting the horse before the car and just making a big ass of himself instead of like really just following the facts, following the information, following the scientists, and just we are literally in the worst thrones of it. It's like, it's so crazy. When we started out, when was this? We had our first case in December, and now we are
in China, I think.
No, we had our first case here in December.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they traced their first cases in December. And so here we are. We're a month away from December, and we're worse off than we were when we first started. And it's just like, you could see that other countries had a decrease, and now they're on the rise as well because it's wintertime and everything else is on the rise. Different, flu and things like that. So it's just kind of like the other countries were able to open it back up a little bit, and we never really was. And it's just like, we have this piecemeal approach, and we have people in different states who do one thing, and then the other states don't do the other thing. And it's just like, oh, well, why this state is doing this, we're going to go to this state. And when this state closes down, we're going to go to that state. And when that state closes down, we're going to go to this one. So it just keeps bouncing around like a freaking ping pong ball. Mm-hmm. We're never going to get out of this cycle.
So Trump really inspired a lot of people to get, I don't want to say get into politics, but pay attention to it, and in a lot of press, people did not respect him and try to catch him in lies and
catch him. He's lied about.
Well, catch him in lies, and then Kaylee too, and everybody he worked with, they're just a bunch of weirdos, man. And I will say one thing. I know Biden won, but y'all went Lionel Richie on Saturday, dancing in the streets. I mean, that was cool and everything, but COVID. So that's why we're gonna have our third wave. And then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. So just be careful. God damn it. Sheesh.
By the way, Thanksgiving and Christmas, what do you have planned?
Nothing.
The same here, but I think what the specialists or the scientists was telling us is that people should stay where they are. Don't go home. Yeah.
Zoom everybody, I had a Zoom family
Zoom, everybody's fatigued from that, but go ahead.
I had a Zoom family reunion, and I thought it was pretty cool. The thing about Zoom and any other like Skype and whatever is a house party and StreamYard or whatever. Like when you talk at the same time, I think the broadband and the streaming can only take one audio at a time. So when you guys talk over each other, it cancels out everybody else. So then like you won't be able to hear everybody else. So that's the only thing you have to watch it. But other than that, like I'm glad people are using it because we still have podcasts going, and people are able to talk to each other and able to work from home because of Zoom. So if you buy stock in Zoom, fuck you. Because I wish I did.
The thing about it though is like, no, you're right. I've had so many Zoom calls and Zoom meetings. I'm Zoom fatigued too. So it's just like, I know what people want to see their family. Like I haven't been home to Missouri since I usually go on Thanksgiving, and then I usually go on Memorial Weekend. So I did go home for Thanksgiving, but I won't be able to go back this Thanksgiving. I didn't go home for Memorial Weekend because of, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm such a lady. But I got big girls in the family. You know what I'm saying? And this let me tell y'all something that they not telling y'all, which they really should be telling y'all. And they may be saying it, but they're saying it in an indirect way. If you are a big person, and you know you big because you know you're big, right? Because you've been told you big. And so the thing about this is what? You all who are big people, if you get this, I literally think it's life or death for you. Now, there are some certain people who may or may not get it too, who are a little thinner. But the people who I think are people who have underlying conditions, this is true. But the big people, let me tell you something I do, Lee. I go to the LA Times here in LA, and I look at the obituaries. Because I want to see the obituaries. Obituaries. And that's not funny, but I do go to the obituaries and I look at it and I was like, wonder who died. And every time you go and you look at the people who have died from COVID, number one, they're either not extremely, but fairly old, or they're overweight. And it's just like, the kids who would die when they were like 8. So some of the kids that died from COVID were like 18 or younger. And it's just like, what were they? They were grossly overweight, morbidly, obesely overweight, and it's just like, this disease is killing people who are overweight. This virus.
So it's like a wake up call to get your, there's another thing I don't like what's going on right now with the media is like they're not telling you to about prevention, do the vitamin C, better diet, look into all of that stuff too.
Keep your ass at home,
work
especially
out.
if you big.
Yeah. Because this is taking you guys out. I read a story when all this started happening about this lady who had diabetes and she got COVID and she didn't last a week. You know what I'm saying? So, and she was, I don't want to say she was fat, but she wasn't healthy. You know what I'm saying? So, this is a wake up call. People, I mean, it's really life and death, like real quick. You know what I'm saying? Not like you can die gradually from being overweight, but if you catch this COVID, you can be dead the next day.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
read so many articles about what you're just saying. Keep going though.
And then I know somebody who lost 3 family members, and some of them were old, some of them were overweight. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if that's not a wake up call, people.
I'm just telling you this is my own research. Don't take me at my word, but this is what I have seen. I went through the obituaries, and you should do the same. In your local home or wherever your paper is or wherever you look at your information and get your news from. But I look at the LA Times and I was looking at all the people who had died from COVID, majority of them that were younger. When I'm saying younger, I'm talking about 60 and below.
You're saying 60?
60 and below. Those folks right there, they were what I saw, the commonality was they were overweight and they didn't look healthy. And it's just like, and then you see him, so I'm surprised Chris Christie's fat ass survived because, he was in the hospital for 7 days. Chris Christie, treatment. He got special treatment.
Remember, your president got COVID and probably got special treatment.
That's right. His fat ass got COVID too.
Everybody in the White House is getting
oh, it's what they call it. What do you call it? What do they call it?
A COVID party?
Yeah, no, but they call it something else. It's like a something spreader, a mega spreader, a super spreader. So in the White House, and it's true, they had 3 breakouts there, and that should tell you something. And some of you dummies over there still voted for him. Dummies. It's true.
So when was the announcement that Biden is going to be our next president?
I think it was
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning or Sunday morning?
Not this past Saturday, not yesterday. But wait, today's Sunday, right?
Oh, well, let's put the date on it because we are on the podcast.
Okay, so the date would be last Saturday, whatever last Saturday was. The 8th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there. What was it?
7th.
The 7th. That's when I believe that they called
and it was in the morning.
It was in the morning, yeah.
Okay, did you go out and party?
No.
You didn't dance in the streets like that?
Excuse me. No, I did not.
I am very surprised.
Well, look, we're under a COVID restriction.
That's
and
what I said.
lockdown.
I wanted, trust me, I wanted to go out there too and blast Pharrell happy. You know what I'm saying? You know, I heard they had DJs out there on one street. You know what I'm saying? So
I know, and we hope on Santa Monica Boulevard,
uh-huh.
it was people like rolling down the street, like clapping in their cars and like honking the horns.
Yeah.
Well, there were people down the street too. So, you know, I know that they had a big celebration there. I know all over LA.
Yeah, it was all over.
No, I'm not saying I'm not happy. I got very happy, and so my celebration is I did celebrate to myself. You know, I think I did a little hallelujah dance, but you know, I was pretty much by myself.
You know, it's bad when other countries celebrate your next president. Like your president, your last president is out.
That's why he's so mad. You know, he been in hiding. He ain't said nothing about COVID, ain't came out, gave no speech no more. This is what would tell you who the character of a person is. This motherfucker ain't said nothing to you motherfuckers. Not nothing.
He came out yesterday. He did something yesterday.
He said like one thing. He didn't say nothing about what's going on. He didn't concede. He just came out, and then y'all still hook, line, and sinker. I don't get it. I'm still gonna be on this same tune. I don't get it. Convince me why you vote for this man. Like I don't get it. Like I do get what I believe, and I think everybody knows what I believe when I don't say what I believe. But there's only one reason why you would vote for this man. Out of everything he said, there's only one reason why 72 million, and they keep saying 20% of African American men voted for Trump. I don't see that. I do not believe that motherfucking number. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Just like them polls
in America, like the whole?
In America as a whole, they say 20% of African American males voted.
Oh, 20%.
20, like around 20%.
I could see that.
I don't see that. And if y'all did, fuck y'all. Fuck each and every one of y'all, because y'all motherfucking stupid.
My Mexican brothers too, man. Like, yeah. The percentage that voted for Trump, which was mainly male, why? Because the vice president is a woman? Like, what is that? Because I know there's a machismo there, you know, with Latin men. You know, I don't know if it's all Latin men, but predominantly more like Mexican. Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And then in Florida, what was that? Cubans?
The Cubans went for Trump overwhelmingly.
Jesus. Like,
well, they're so scared of Fidel Castro coming back and getting them. That's the reason
that's
why.
That's the thing, too. That's what I heard, too. Like, Trump really talked a good one in the ear about capitalism and communism, I mean.
Yeah.
And really got them on their side. But, you know, Biden's...
They're against socialism and all that. Yeah. So it's like they were scared. I mean, whatever Fidel did to them folks over there, he got them really scared because they still running scared. And ain't Fidel Castro dead? Didn't he die? Yeah, he died, yeah. And okay, I'm don't leave it alone because I'm just saying. But they got real scared. Like you were that scared. The type of socialism that you all saw over in Cuba is not the socialism that you see with Bernie Sanders and AOC and people.
I mean,
who are
you guys
like that.
made it over here and are still thriving and are able to vote. So what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, have some like common sense. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He done scared them folks. They thought Fidel was going to come back from the grave, honey. I mean, let's get it. I would love to like pick their brain just to see, but it's just according to the polls and according to what people are saying. But you know what? These are the things. Like I'm not even the polls. Like y'all keep saying this about the polls. Like I just don't know what I believe them 50% of the time. How about that?
Yeah.
50% of the time they wrong. I mean, for the last two elections, like it's just hard for me to believe any of the polls. So even when they say 20% of African Americans as a whole voted for Trump, I don't see it. I don't see it. It could be possible, but I do not see it.
Because to be honest, when this whole thing was going on and the numbers came in on Friday, Monday. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't know. I thought Trump was going to win because it looked like he was winning. And you know what I mean? And
I know.
And they were waiting on Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And,
because this is what I was explaining earlier. Maybe I didn't explain it completely. But so when Biden had campaigned, him and Kamala had campaigned on people mailing in their ballots or sending in their ballots before you actually vote in person, and encourage people to send in their ballots and not to vote in person because of COVID.
Yeah.
So people did that all around the United States. The second part of that was Trump was the flip side of that. He told people, don't mail in your ballots, go to the polls on the days, and people listened to him. So what happened? And what happens in most states, they count the votes, they count the people who vote first when they show up at the polls, right? So that's why it looked like,
I remember that. I forgot.
And this goes back to my point when I said wait till all the votes are counted. And the reason why I said that is because what happened was on November the 3rd, everybody who showed up was a lot of the people who were Trump supporters showed up and they vote. So it looked like he won in a landslide, right? What people didn't understand and what they didn't know, or maybe they forgot, was that all the outstanding votes that all the other people had mailed in prior had actually been more than what showed up on the day when they voted, which is on November the 3rd. So by Saturday, that's why it took so long, because a lot of states said you can't count those votes until everybody has voted. So, which doesn't make sense to me, because we could have had those votes already counted. That didn't make sense to me
either. I remember that.
So that's just a little bit of backstory, and this kind of gives a little bit of context. So it's just kind of like, okay, I could see why you thought that. I can understand why I was getting these texts and calls from people about like, oh, Trump's going to win. I'm like, no. Wait till all the votes are counted, and then you will see.
I didn't get that either. Like, why some states were like waiting till the day of, rather than just, okay, we have all these in, let's count them to get it over with, so we won't have no mistake on the count. You know what I mean? And we won't mix anything like from election day, from the past weeks that we were letting people, vote early. Let's not take that chance. Let's just count them now. Like, even by the day, let's say we started on Monday, we count everything on Monday. Tuesday, we count everything on Tuesday. Was it blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that.
It's so funny that you say that. That was your true, honest opinion. Like, not knowing politics, not following
you asked us to vote early, so I was thinking you're going to count early too.
Which makes sense. No, the reason why I'm saying this, like, I'm saying this twofold. Yeah, it's really funny hearing, not funny, but it's really, like, for me, I'm really happy to hear like an honest, like unbiased opinion, which is yours, because you don't follow politics like that. So let me tell you the reason why what you just explained is not happening in a lot of states. Okay. So what it is very simple. A lot of the states have Republican governments at all kind of levels. So what happens is the Republicans make these rules and they make these regulations that say, they're kind of skew in their way. So if they want to go to court and kind of fight these ballots that are out, so people who mailed in their ballots, we can't count them because they actually didn't show up. They try to make these rules and regulations against them, right? So it's kind of like they're for it but against it. So meaning, if you have a most likely if you have a Republican-led state house, your government in your local state, they've made these rules and regulations that say, okay, everybody who shows, we want you can do mail-in ballots, and you have 10 days before the elections, right? I'm just generally throwing this out there. You can mail in your ballots. The people who show up, you have on November 3rd just to show up and vote. So what happened was they knew what Trump was going to do, because he had been telling people, I'm going to fight this in the court. So everybody that showed up on November 3rd to voted, right? So I'm fast forwarding through the story. Everybody who voted on November the 3rd, their voices were heard, they got to count it, and Trump wanted to stop the election there, because all the state houses had already said, you know what, we're not counting the votes until after the election. So why would they do that? Because Trump wanted to take it to court and get all the mail-in ballots thrown out. So do you see how it was like a hand-in-glove situation?
Yeah, which is not fair to the American people, because they voted. So they want their votes to count. So why would you even do that, Mr. President? You know what I'm saying?
And Republicans, so they was along with it too.
Right. So you guys voted for this. This is the America that you want. You want your votes to not count.
You know what kind of America they want. They're pining for 1950. Those 72 million people who voted for Trump are pining for an era that is no longer existing. They want to put a board. This is what they want. This is what I truly believe. They want black people to be slaves again.
Yay!
They want Mexican locked up in cages. And they want the homosexuals terminated.
Kill those homos!
So this is what they want, and this is what they voted for, because they don't like what they see. They don't like this. They don't like where America is going, and they're becoming smaller and smaller and smaller part of the society. And it's just like, you know what do you do when you try to hold on to power? You do everything. You claw, kick, you scream, you kill, you do all of it. And that's what they're doing. And it's blatant, and you can see it, and it's disgusting.
It's very disgusting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in. I hope that was like a quick look, one-on-one crash course on just like learning what exactly, is going on around the United States. Of course, we live here in California, and everybody, that lives here, we're used to having a open system, transparent system, especially when it comes to voting. And it just seems like that would be the way that all people want to run their election. 11 days that you can actually go in person before November the 3rd. 11 days prior to November 3rd, you can go in person to vote. You can start voting by mail a month before the election starts. And guess what? You have one more option. You could fill out your ballot that you received in the mail, and then you can drop it off at a ballot box that is specified for only those ballots. So it's just like you have all these ways to vote, and then not here in California, but to think if all the other states have that, so we had one of the largest turnouts. I think 82% of the registered people that was able to vote actually voted. So that only means 18% of registered voters did not vote. That's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
But imagine if we had like what we have here in California implemented throughout the whole United States. How many more people? We'd probably be at like 90% maybe. Not to say that all people should be voting. Yes, you have a right to vote and you should vote, but Jesus. Research and have a brain. Don't be led astray. Just following the packs and the masses. If you live in Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, West Virginia, Kentucky, like, tell me why y'all still, I just really want to know, why y'all still vote for Republicans? And why did you vote for Trump specifically?
Trump. Yeah.
Specifically for Trump. Republicans,
he has to be embarrassing for you guys.
I really want to interview. I just want to know. And you heard about I think Katy Perry, she got in a lot of trouble. She had tweeted that we should reach out to Trump supporters and console them, something like that. And then everybody else was pretty much like, bitch, bye. That's pretty much what they said. They was just like,
they don't need consoling, they need education.
Right. And if people was like, they didn't do that when Hillary Clinton lost, no. And then a lot of people was like, why would we want to even sit in the same room with these people? They knew what they were voting for and they still voted for it. Yeah. What's more is there to talk about? And that's how I am. What more is there to talk about? Although I do want to talk to him. I just want to pick your brain. Like, what did he do for you the last 4 years? I mean, what was it? If he thought your mama was pretty, he would go up and grab her by the pussy because he said he would do that. I go up and grab him by the pussy. That's what he said.
It's nothing.
Or what about when he talked about, veterans and people in the war, he called them suckers and losers. Yeah. Your dad was in the military.
He was.
You're a military child. You know what I'm saying?
Military brat.
Mm-hmm. My grandfather was in the military. I mean, they weren't suckers or losers. And it's just like things like that. But you still vote for this man. Go ahead. You got to keep going for days. Yeah.
I was going to bring up something and I forgot.
What do you think it was? On the same subject that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure it was the same subject?
Yeah.
How'd you lose it? It was just
because I listened to your rant. It was good.
My rant? You're really good at remembering stuff, so I'm sure it'll come back to you. So should I continue my rant?
I mean, if you're going to push it forward, just go ahead.
No, I really don't have more to say about it. I really want to know about you all who voted for Trump. If there's anybody out there, because there is 72 million of you all, who a lot of you all didn't really even report into the polling people that you were going to vote for him. But Trump actually did say that. He said that there's going to be people who vote for him to tell the pollsters that they're not going to vote for him. It's called the hidden Trump vote. And you know what? He was motherfucking right. This is one man. I mean, I'm not going to compare him to anybody in history, but I'm just saying there was one man that exterminated a group of people that led a country over in Europe And he led that many more plus people to actually exterminate a group of people. Now, I'm not calling this man. I'm just saying people can be led astray. They blindly lead and understand whatever this person is saying that I just don't understand. Like, I sat there and I looked at Trump, and this is the thing that I said. He looks like a used car salesman, and not a good one. Dingy and dirty and grimy. But I just don't you just want to know, like, what goes through your head? Like, you sit there, I mean, like, this man hates people in general, and he definitely doesn't like me or you, and me double time.
He likes Lil Wayne and Kanye West.
He don't like them niggas.
He loves them.
He do not. He uses them. He uses them as puppets.
In the same tax bracket.
He uses them. This man. Okay. The only person he had up in the White House, and this is because they said that he had to have somebody black, was Omarosa. And you all know how the black community feel about Omarosa.
Yeah.
Bad girl. Bad. Did you think about what she was going to say? Did it come back?
Excuse me.
Oh, now you getting thrifty, is it?
No, what were we talking about?
Well, you were saying Lil Wayne and who else voted for it? 50 Cent?
Kanye. Oh, you said 50 Cent?
He did 50 Cent vote, or at least said he was something. He said that he was in support of Trump, and then he took it back.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
He did.
I don't think he voted. You think he voted?
I don't know if he voted or not, to be honest.
I mean, voted for Trump?
Yeah. Well, apparently 20% of black African American males did. He could have been one of them.
I really
20%.
do believe that. I that's a good number.
Why do you think that is?
Because he's the vice president is a woman.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah. I think that's the only reason, and maybe because you are in that same tax bracket, and you think Biden's going to raise taxes and stuff like that, all that bullshit. So yeah, I believe that. I really do believe that. It's a good number, but it's not too high. I mean, it's too high, but I mean, I would. It makes sense because a lot of men are chauvinistic. You know what I'm saying? A female vice president? Are you kidding me?
Well, at least they like that one vice president. First, I got ice in my mouth. Hang on.
That doesn't make any sense.
I was saying.
You on the podcast to talk. They suck on this ice.
It was just ice. I mean, I could think of a million things to be in people's mouths, but ice was just what I had in mind.
You're not laughing,
okay.
Sinister.
I was just going to say that people in general, though, I think that... Wait, I lost my train of thought. Wait. You were talking about the vice president, and I'm going to tell you. So I think that people will vote for the vice president. Okay. Woo! All right. Wait,
Gummy Bears is kicking.
Yeah, it is. So I think I hear your point. So the point was about her about Kamala being a woman.
Yeah. And
you're right. I think there are a lot of men and even some women out there.
Absolutely.
Who can't bring themselves to vote for a woman, right?
Yep.
And it's just like, I'm like, okay, I'm just glad that they did that back in 2016. They couldn't bring themselves to vote. Actually, 3 million. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million.
Yeah, she did win that. Yeah.
So if we would, that's a different subject. I'm not going to go about like why we should move over to popular vote, but I just don't think a lot of people were able to bring themselves to vote for Hillary because she was a woman. I do think that, and because Biden was at the top of the ticket, and people like Biden is like that uncle. He reminds me of that uncle that's funny, like all the time, just funny, and he doesn't know that he's funny because he just be doing shit. And because that is funny, like just old. He's old and he's funny, and he's funny because he's old.
Yeah, but I don't think it's funny. Like we're laughing with him. We're like kind of laughing at him.
Yeah, like he's like
so
trying
to kind of.
Yeah, so let me be specific. So it's like it's one of those things where he's old and he likes to stop and talk to you, and he'll talk to you for 20,
Touch
30
some
minutes.
random, about
You know what I'm saying? Or he's old and like how he'll sit in a chair or turn around or nod off.
While he's tearing your stuff.
And then pop back up. You know what I'm saying? Just like, that type of old where it's funny old as in he knows that he's old and he leans into it, but he's still got all his faculties. He's still sharp. He still knows what to do. He's just like an old uncle that just want to, have a little fun and nap. I like to nap. So,
Napping is good.
Yes.
I remembered my thought and then I forgot it.
Again.
Because you kept going.
Come back. It'll come back to you.
It'll come back.
I'm pretty sure it will. So yeah, that's how I feel about we said all that to say about the president thing, but yeah. So that's how I feel about the election. Like, I'm really happy that Biden won. I'm happy that we're going a new direction in the states here. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get through the next 3 months while Trump is still in charge without being injured or maimed or killed in some kind of way. He can start a fucking war. So it's just like, hopefully we're still here to bring our broadcast.
By the way, since this is going on YouTube, if you did vote for Trump, maybe leave a comment on why. That'd be kind of nice to read. Anytime.
Agreed.
I don't care if you hear this 5 years later and you remember, we're just curious,
Agreed. And also, with that said, just something that came to mind too, since you were talking about like you forgot something. Happy Trans Remembrance Day. That will be on November the 20th. Remembering all the trans people who have lost their lives. So on November the 20th, it's the Trans Remembrance Day. So remember that. And I think this week, actually, all this week is like Trans Remembrance Week. So, just want to put that out there. So to all you lovely trans people out there, we support you, we love you, and we encourage you. That part.
I love the show Pose. I love that show.
That's a good show. I like that show. So I just wanted to make sure I put that up there. Trans Remembrance Day.
Did you watch that show?
I did. I watched all of first season. I'm like on the second season.
Oh, okay.
I think on like episode like 3 or 4.
I was going to ask you a gay question, but
just ask it.
No, because it pertains to the show.
Oh, well, it's okay. I've seen it.
I've seen the whole thing. It's over.
Wait, how many seasons was there?
Was it two seasons?
2 or 3. It's got to be 3 seasons. Like it's finished. Like it's done. Finale.
I thought so.
Really?
Anyway, there's a part where they actually show them have sex, and their faces of pain were intriguing. Like, why'd you let him in then?
I think maybe you took.
If it hurts so much
for ecstasy, I think it was more.
No, it was pain. That was.
Well, this person enjoyed
2 seasons.
Of it. How many?
2 seasons.
So it is 2 seasons.
I remember watching this movie. It was about like different couples.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had one that was kind of like they were a gay couple, but one guy was like some rocker looking guy, and then the other guy was like some jock guy, and they I think they knew each other a while in high school, but then they didn't realize they were both gay.
Mm-hmm.
So like they were having a conversation, and they were talking about how I guess the football guy was telling the other guy that kind of they take it easy because it really hurts. So I was like, why do it then? Don't do it. Just don't do it.
I gotta tell you, like I was saying earlier, I'm still eating this ice. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes pain is ecstasy. It's like the feeling of it turns from pain to a enjoyable sensation.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about that.
Well, maybe he wasn't.
He was saying take it easy.
He also was still trying to stay in that, wasn't he?
Because he loved the guy.
that sometimes that may be what it is, and sometimes people don't always share how they really feel because you don't know what goes on in people's bedrooms and bathrooms.
But why wouldn't you share the good part of that? You would if it was good, he would have been like, yeah, it hurts, but then but it feels so good, so let's keep it going. No, he said, take it easy. It hurts.
Well, again, it has to be context there. Maybe in that particular moment it did. But again, he's still there. Actions speak louder than words.
What you mean he's still there? Like he's still willing?
Yes, actions speak louder than words. Like, because if it really was that bad, he really couldn't do it, he wouldn't be there.
I guess I'm trying to say, like, just because you're gay doesn't mean you have to, like,
take a dick.
Take it in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know there's this gay dude, he won, like, some show or something, and then they interviewed him later, and he was like, yeah, I just don't like it. Like, I'm gay, but I just don't like it. So I don't do it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Because it's not normal. That's usually you gotta take it. Because you like it.
So you got a couple of things there.
Yeah, okay.
But I will
ice
say
fell
this,
out of the mouth.
You don't have to take it, but there are certain people, like that's why you have bottoms and tops and pitches and catches, right? Whatever you want to say. And so, sometimes it's just people going through that stage, like, okay, I'm trying to do this because this is what I think I'm supposed to do, and then you figure out like you don't like it, so you still like the dick, like you may want it in your mouth, or you may want it somewhere else. Sure. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you still want that, but you just don't want it in your ass. Yeah, and so a lot of times that's when the person becomes the top, or they figure out that that's what they are and that's what they prefer. They still want a man, they just don't want to be penetrated.
That's like in Pose, like when one of the characters was like, I think I'm gonna let him fuck me. Like I think I'm gonna let him give that to him, and it was like a big deal because he usually didn't take it. He usually gave it. Mm-hmm. So then and then he made the face of pain, and then they kept on going. Obviously, because they're in love, and let him.
That was the context.
Dig
of that
him
story.
out.
There you go. See,
yeah, but I gotta endure this pain this whole time. It's because
you just said
ball on ball action.
Yeah.
Balls banging them balls.
And some people like that.
And some people like that.
Some people like that.
I know some people, like in the booty is fine, but then there's others who I feel like they have to do that because they're gay, so they have to play that part. Then there's others who are like, I'm just a top. I just like fucking man. I'm doing it, blah blah blah. Then there's others who are like, if they're in a relationship, maybe. Like this situation is like maybe I'm gonna let him, pierce my brown star because we're in a relationship, and I want to show him how I feel by giving him my man coochie. It's very complicated because I hate it when I think the problem with homosexuality is people think it's the same thing, and it's not the same thing. There's people who are born that way, and there's people who grew to just like men. There's other people, they're normal just like us. Okay, they have their own stories, they have their own journeys. They discover this. A lot of heterosexual men find out that they like the finger in the booty when they're coming or when their girlfriend is sucking their pee-pee. Okay, and I guess it's a wonderful feeling. Our G-spot is in our anal cavity, so that part. So some people are comfortable with it, and some people are not. They don't want any action around their booty hole. So.
And they'd be the ones to get that prostate cancer. Play with it. Figure out what's going on up in that thing. That way you can figure out if something's wrong. If you feel a bump or a cyst or liquid or something. And that's check it. Go get that thing checked out.
But yeah, that's a good point too. If you're between 40 and 50, and then after 50, you should probably get that checked out. And they put you asleep, so you can avoid all that time but they do give you a pill or something where it makes you, I guess, boo boo, like a laxative. So you know that's probably gonna be like the worst part. Other than that, like you won't even be awake for it. You know, they have that, they give you that option now. So take care of it. Because my thing is, remember Chadwick Boseman. Even though he caught it early and he still succumbed to it, he did die of what was the cancer? It wasn't prostate.
It was the one in your stomach cancer. What is it called? It's called pancreatic. Was it not pancreatic?
Was it pancreatic cancer?
No. It's the one. Aretha Franklin had that same one.
I thought it was the booty one.
No, he didn't. No, it's the one in your. I think it's in your. Is it the booty one? Is it?
I thought that.
What is that?
Because I tried to make that a point when I tell my friends. I say, remember, Chadwick was our age.
43.
So, colon cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
I think,
still booty.
And I think that that's what Aretha Franklin died from.
So, you got to check that out, man. If you have health insurance, you know what I'm saying? Use it.
And also, you can look at your stool. You know if it's turning a different color every time you go to the restroom. Look at it. Examine yourself. That's another thing. And I think men and people of color are really, that's like off limits to discover yourself. Put your finger up there. Feel what's going on. See if there's something going on. Check all over your body. Yeah. Under all your crevices.
I was gonna say, like, I did, I know we're going from politics to poop, but I did have some boo-boo issues, and I went to go get it checked out, and because I thought it was going to be cancer. I was, a little bit scared, but it turned out it was my diet, so I just changed my diet, and there we go. But they looked at my boo-boo, and they said it wasn't cancerous. So, if you have a health insurance, take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? Go get checked out. But don't be like, what do you call it? Like crazy.
A hyperconscious.
Yeah, be
over.
You see an extra mole on your knee, like.
Yeah, you know your body. You've been with it for however long you've been with it.
Yeah.
You discover it. Like I keep saying, like, look, I know all was on me at 20 years old. I know what is it, because to be looking at me like, okay, what's this? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like if your body, if you got a rattle and you ain't had that rattle and you just got it and you have it for like 2 or 3 months, there's something wrong with you. And this is another thing. We're gonna do a show about pet peeves. This is yo motherfucking halitosis and nasty ass breath. If every time I see you and every time you come around, your breath is hot and heavy like that, you got a problem.
First of all, why are you worried about? They got masks on now to protect us.
Yes, this is before the mask, and sometimes you can smell folks' breath through that mask.
And that's a problem.
And it is, but I'm saying if
it's like swamp.
You know somebody, and I know a couple of people who got halitosis, and it's so bad because like you have like it's like you ain't brushed your teeth, that kind of breath, and then you have that breath that's coming from within the hollows of your soul, and that, and it's just like something ain't right with you, and I walked up on a couple of people like, ooh, that's death inside you, and you know what? It's death. That's exactly what it is. Your body telling you about to die, bitch. Smell your breath, check yourself over. Feel if it got some bumps and some humps in there,
I will say when we walked into the building on the first floor, I thought that was my breath, but I'm glad it wasn't. It was the building. They have
I hope your breath don't smell like that.
For a minute, I was like, does my breath stink?
You did say that when we were on the elevator too, and it smelled that. What it smelled like. So let me describe to you. It smelled like, if you ever been to a rest home, it smelled like shit that had been cleaned up in a rest home, and they put that fragrance over it, and they try to drown it out. That's exactly what it smelled like. It smelled like that when we went up at 2 p.m. and then when we came down at 4:50, almost 5 p.m. and we came back, it smelled just like that.
Because I smelled it outside before we got into the lobby, and it was kind of off and on, so I thought it was.
If your breath ever,
but it wasn't.
You better go run to the doctor and get that checked out, because that smell. I was like, oh, I smell like I was back at the rest home.
Yeah, that was bad. That was pretty bad.
That's what it smelled like.
I'm not gonna say the restaurant because I like the restaurant, but that first floor.
Okay, and I have been there a few times, and this one is nice up in the sky.
I mean, downtown is not. It's very pee friendly, anyway, poo poo friendly. So
You better stop saying that.
It
Because they
is.
shit all over the place down there.
It's a big toilet.
But okay,
Nice buildings.
yeah. So the building that we went to, you know, off 4th Street. I'll put it like that.
On Hill
4th and
Street.
Hill. 4th and Hill. A restaurant at the top. I'll put it like that. It's at the top.
It's a great restaurant.
It's a nice little restaurant, and the thing about it was, it smelled like a straight up rest home. Like 4 or 5 of them motherfuckers sweet together. It smelled just like that, and it was like, it hit me too. I was like, oh, and I got one of them nose that Cat Williams be talking, them big greasy ass bell pepper nose.
What? I don't know about no restaurants, but it smelled normal to me downtown.
Stop it, downtown do not smell like that.
Son, when's the last time you walked down there?
Okay. If you on like Maple and Santa Fe
Going back
and
to the
Santee
car,
Alley,
I smell pee-pee.
Yes, because we had to walk through Person Square Station.
Okay, that's
pretty
what I'm
much.
saying. Downtown is a big
It
toilet.
does smell like piss and despair sometimes.
You know what? Downtown is like a toilet, and then the buildings are on the seat cover. All the people, you know,
I would agree with you on that.
like the people who are just living there, who got jobs and working normal and stuff like that. And they live on the seat cover, and then on the side, because it's slanted. On the side is where, you know.
I just don't understand why all of
unfortunate
them. It's so many. I just don't understand. Like when I was walking up, like literally, I was like, the fuck? Like it was just like, and I know I haven't been downtown in a long time
What do
since.
you want them to do?
I don't know what I want them to do, but I don't know why we have so many. Like it's just like like honestly, they were laying on the ground, they were laying in the trees, they was laying on the water fountain.
like tigers.
They was everywhere, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I know there's not one silver bullet to fix the issue, but why do we have so many? And you saw we had to wade through all of these people that was there to get to the place that we were going, and it was just like, I for some reason I was a little numb to it, because I literally just walked about past 10 bodies laying throughout the city to get to the place, and it didn't even faze me. And then your sister talked about how she went through the back alley.
Yeah, she's a woman though.
I know, but she went through the back. I went through the main street, and she went through the back alley. And I was like, "Girl, you brave." And then I was telling you, you know, just since we're on this subject. So when I got there, the police, and the district police officers down there was, excuse me, was arresting somebody because he was busting. It was just some unhoused individual. So they said he was. I'm not for sure. They said it was a homeless individual was down there. He got mad and he just started busting out windows on people's cars. And that was when me and you and Nats was down there.
Yeah, but when the homeless do that, to me, they do that on purpose because they want to go to jail because they have care too.
They want that 3 hot and a cot. Yeah,
Sometimes.
Stop. I'm just saying that I was like, this dude just randomly. You might be right.
Most of the time when they do stuff like that, because it's especially when it was daytime and it was out in the open, they do that on purpose because they want to go to jail.
You know, you might be right because it's gonna get cold. Like right now, it's probably the sun's gone down, so they want that. Yes, that's what they want.
I remember in Glendale, there was this guy. He started yelling in the street. He was just growling, and I was telling my coworker, I was like, "What are you doing on purpose?" And then I went to go my car, and when I came back, he was getting arrested, and he was quiet. And you would think he'd be like, "Get off me!" But nope, he's quiet. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted.
3 hot and a cop.
And some. But you know, like I didn't even realize the cold weather is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's even smarter. I'm gonna be in a war sale.
For 3 months.
Under some covers.
Exactly.
That'll be good.
And may have a warm body. Yeah.
The medical service is worth it. You want to snuggle, Pete? Snuggle. Right. I gotta go to the infirmary real quick. I guess we can end it on that note. All right, well, this has been Mood Now Moods. Thanks for listening. Thanks for everybody who voted. That's a real big thing, and obviously now you know that it matters, and hopefully the next 4 years will be better and better. Real weight off my shoulders, because Trump gave me PTSD. I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know who was going to assault me. I didn't know what was going on bad, all that stuff. His behavior. Little bit PTSD. It's like, man, are we going to go to war? This guy was like a provocateur. You know what I'm saying? Total goofball. And you guys kept being team Trump and shit. It was like sticking up for your autistic son or brother or something. Oh, he's just special. It's okay. It's like cut that shit out. You guys need to get it. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.